Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today's video was brought to us by longtime Patreon supporter Muffins. Huge thanks to Muffins and the rest of my Patreon supporters. Muffins reached out asking for a high-powered artifact deck led by Osgir the Reconstructor, and I was more than happy to oblige. Just a heads up, this is not a budget-friendly build, nor is it a nice build. But before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and it's free. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Osgir the Reconstructor is a 4-mana, 4/4 legendary giant artificer with vigilance. We may pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact. If we do, target creature we control gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. We may also pay X, tap Osgir, and exile an artifact card from our graveyard with mana value X. We then create 2 tokens that are copies of the exiled card. However, we can only do this as a sorcery. So we want a lot of artifacts in our deck, and we want artifacts in our graveyard. We also don't particularly want legendary artifacts, but we're not necessarily opposed to them. But artifacts aren't the only thing we'll need in our deck. Good thing we have our handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Now, before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor. As I'm sure you've heard by now, this channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard makes these beautiful solid color playmats, like this one in a gorgeous shade of crimson. One of my favorite things about Ultimate Guard is their vibrant color palette. This mat is surprisingly thick and much smoother than a lot of the other mats I've used before. And since it's my favorite color, this one will probably be my go-to from now on. Find out if your store carries Ultimate Guard products, or click the link in the video description to their Amazon store. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Treasure Vault, Arid Mesa, Scalding Tarn, Marsh Flats, Sacred Foundry, Spectator Seating, Sundown Pass, Clifftop Retreat, Alpine Meadow, Sacred Peaks, Battlefield Forge, Needleverge Pathway, Rustvale Bridge, Boros Garrison, Darksteel Citadel, Ancient Den, Great Furnace, Scavenger Grounds, 8 Mountains, and 7 Plains. Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Conviction, Boros Signet, Mind Stone, Foundry Inspector, Metalworker, Krark Clan Ironworks, Solemn Simulacrum, Basalt Monolith, Cloud Key, Dockside Extortionist, and Smothering Tithe make up our mana ramp package. Reckless Handling, Goblin Engineer, Duretti Scrap Savant, Wake the Past, Goblin Welder, Ichor Wellspring, Sensei's Divining Top, Mystic Forge, Enlightened Tutor, Underworld Breach, Wheel of Misfortune, Jeska's Will, Memory Jar, and Oswald Fiddlebender. Dispatch, Boros Charm, Abrade, Destroy Evil, Vandal Blast, Swords to Plowshares, Teferi's Protection, Chaos Warp, Pyroblast, Tybalt's Trickery, Deflecting Swat, Heliod's Intervention, and Spine of Ish-Sa make up our interaction and spot removal package. Blasphemous Act, Farewell, and Vanquish the Horde help us to reset the board as needed. Gandalf the White, Hellkite Tyrant, Rings of Brighthearth, Zerda the Dawnwaker, Walking Ballista, Mycosynth Lattice, Karn the Great Creator, Mesmeric Orb, Ugin's Nexus, Pull from Eternity, Isochron Scepter, Mere Welder, Staff of Domination, Wormcoil Engine, and Nim Deathmantle make up the core of our deck, but we've also got Sculpting Steel, 1000-Year Elixir, Lightning Greaves, Darksteel Forge, and Cityscape Leveler. Did you catch all the evil combos we've included in the deck? Don't worry, we'll go over some of them, but we'll want to compare our deck to our checklist first. 49 mana sources split between 35 lands and 14 pieces of ramp. A little light, but don't worry, we have ways to increase our land count. 14 pieces of card advantage, 13 pieces of interaction, 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Scavenger Grounds and Farewell, no single sudden I win card, but lots and lots of combos. The first one involves Krark Clan Ironworks, Foundry Inspector, Sculpting Steel, and Spine of Ish-Sa. I know, 4-card combos aren't exactly considered powerful, but being able to destroy every single permanent on the battlefield is worth it. Of course, we can always generate infinite mana with Basalt Monolith and either Rings of Brighthearth or Zerda the Dawnwaker. We can shut down our opponents with a combination of Karn the Great Creator and Mycosynth Lattice, though blowing up all of their stuff with an overloaded Vandal Blast is another way to close out the game. Of course, the meanest combo involves our commander, Ugin's Nexus, and Pull from Eternity imprinted onto Isochron Scepter. We need Ugin's Nexus in the graveyard. We activate Osgir, exiling Ugin's Nexus and putting 2 token copies of it on the battlefield. Due to the legend rule, we sacrifice one, causing us to take an extra turn after this one. During our next turn, we activate Osgir and sacrifice the other copy of Ugin's Nexus, letting us take another turn after that. We then pay 2 mana and activate Isochron Scepter, getting the exiled copy of Ugin's Nexus back into our graveyard. Rinse and repeat for infinite turns in Boros. See, I told you this deck was mean. Do you have an Osgir the Reconstructor deck? What about an artifact deck with a different commander? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to Editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. One of the tiers is specifically set up for Commander. For only $25, I will build you a custom Commander deck based around your specifications and even do a deck video on it. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Squishy, Brett, Ignis, Roxy, Josh, Sean, Pob Zombie, Mark, Alex, Daniel, Steve, Kevin, Alex, Cookie, Nick, and Borgie. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander deck videos often, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Also, if you're a fan of anime and manga like I am, feel free to check out my other channel, Musings by Danon. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.